So here is the Plymouth Duster Funny Car. This is a shot from above. I hadn't built this car in a long time, but I built I don't know, 3 or 4, whatever, when I was a kid, because it was just, back then it was a great kit, and it's still a good kit. It's a little fiddly in some places, but now that I've built this one, because of my memory, I don't remember from many years ago. So now that I built this one, the next one that I build, and I have another kit, I'll know some areas that I can improve on. So, but this is what it looks like, more or less. I painted the chassis the dark metallic green to sort of match the decals on the side of the body, and the rest of it's just different metallic colors. Silver and silver metallic, or chrome metallic, or a dark gray metallic, steel color if you want. The tires were 2-piece, but in the previous clip you saw that I took them to the grinder wheel, and like I always do, I've done that on these slicks, different kinds of slicks before, or on the dirt track cars. They have you know, slicks on them too, and I just use them on there. Now these were 2-piece tires. I super glued them together. That seemed to work okay. The super glue held, and even though I handled them and put them on the wheel and everything else, and held them up to the grinder, they stayed together. They didn't pop apart. You can see that the grinder ground it down to where you can't really hardly even notice that there was ever a seam, which I thought was just an added plus. I didn't know that was going to happen, because I never did that with a grinding wheel. I never did that with a 2-piece rubber tire like that before. But it worked, so that's the important thing. And you saw it only took a couple minutes to do it rather than trying to do it by hand. It just seemed to get better results for me. That's the way I did it. I didn't wire up the engine or anything like that. I thought about it, but I said, well, if I build another one of these, maybe I'll do it on that one, because anytime you get a wired distributor, and to get a wired distributor for this, you really need like a, you know, a Hemi or a dragster type distributor, or a Magneto or something like that, and you know, most of those go for, you know, with shipping, anywhere around $20. I just didn't want to invest the $20 more into the kit, so I'll use that $20 for something else. But otherwise, it went together well. You just got to be careful and follow the instructions, because, you know, unless you build a lot of funny cars and race cars, you know, it can be a little odd on sometimes where the parts go. So here's from the side. I forget the company right now, but there was a company used to paint all their scatter shields red, and that's why it's red here on the car. I just can't remember the name of the company, but that's what they used to do. Here's the underside. Again, you can see the green, and then just some other silvers. This is the wheel. That interior part, this inner rim, keeps popping off. I didn't like the I didn't like all these fussy things in here. Like, you know, there's all these type of tie rods and cross links and all that stuff in there. That was just real fiddly. It reminded me of building a hot rod kit. I don't have any hot rod kits in my stash, you know. I just burned out building them. I built many of them in the past, but man, all those fiddly parts just drive me nuts anymore. Maybe it's because I'm getting older and I just don't have the patience I used to. I don't know. But anyway, all those linkages from here all the way up to here, all those places, they just bugged me. So, but that came out pretty good. And moving this along, this is where we're at on this car. I'll show you the body in a moment. Here's the body. Now when I put these two together, it's almost going to be done. All I have to do is put the light bars on the top, and I'll do a video when it's completely done. But this is where we're at. One of the decals, one of these decals here on the side, one day when I was working on the model, it fell off, and thankfully it fell off on my model desk. So I got it wet, I put it back on, seemed to be fine. But then I worried about any other decals from this set here that I bought online years ago, because it might have been old. I was worried about any more of those falling off. So I thought, well, I better clear the car. So that's what I did, I cleared it. And that way all the decals, it would seal all the decals on there and I wouldn't have to worry about them falling off. Then I just did the black trim around the windows, put the interior on there. These two pegs here, of course, are for, right here, for the, you know, those go on the back of the chassis so that you can flip the nose up. But yeah, it came out good. I didn't put any other decals on it. I thought about it and kept looking at decals, and I said, you know, it's just, I'll just leave it where it's at. I don't want to get too crazy. It's going to just make it look worse. So now just for glass, because the because I painted this with a Tamiya paint, which is a lacquer, and I could have used Tamiya clear over this with no problem, but I was worried about what it might do to the decals. So rather than spend time trying to test it and all this stuff, I just used urethane out of a can, which I've used many times. That doesn't mean that you should use this unless you've used it before, any kind of urethane out of a can, because there's a lot of things you can't do when you use this type of clear. I don't want anybody to get disappointed and ruin their model. Just some things that come off the top of my head. If you spray that on there, you cannot tape it off with any kind of masking tape, because when you pull the tape off, it will pull the clear coat right off the car. You can't spray paint over this. If you spray paint over that, there'll be a chemical reaction. It'll bubble or get cracked, or it'll just get nasty. So you can't. The only way you can use that clear if it's absolutely the last thing you do and you have no intention of doing anything else on the body. So as long as you're good to go with that, and that's without the windows, of course. I didn't spray it over the window glass or nothing like that. I put all that inside there after I shot it. But as long as you do that, you can put it on. It's going to, sometimes it'll look like it's yellow, or, you know, if you get a drip or it bunches up or something, you can just take a flat brush and just wipe it, and then it'll all settle down, and then it'll be clear. So you don't really have to worry too much about that. I want to say, I don't know if it's the lighting, but sometimes it looks like it has a yellowish tint to it, but some lighting you can see it looks like that, some it doesn't. So I've never had that problem before. I haven't always used this brand. I got this at Lowe's. I've used, there's another brand I used to use and they don't have anymore. And that can, I ran out of it. So, and I still have the can, but they didn't have that kind. So I bought this one. But that's just a thing. But I don't recommend using that unless you practice with it a lot and test with it a lot, so that you get familiar with what you can do and can't do. Because I don't want anybody to just go grab a can and ruin their model. Well, yeah, it comes out nice. It's nice and glossy. But the good thing about that urethane is that you can spray it over any kind of paint. I sprayed it over lacquer, sprayed it over enamel, sprayed it over acrylic. I mean, you know, hardware paint. It doesn't seem to care, from my experience, what kind of paint it just covers it and makes it glossy. So now let's move on to real quick to the, since we're doing an update. Here's the Charger. This is Tamiya yellow with a Tamiya clear on it. It came out really nice. Not a problem there. Working on the chassis. Show that to you. I love the way these newer cars have all these different parts on the chassis. like when you build an older model that's rear wheel drive, you're just getting like an axle, a couple leaf springs maybe. If it's a GM, there might, if you're lucky, there's a coil spring on the back. But on these new cars, man, you get all this intricate detail that you can paint up. And then, you know, even the transmission and everything and has a little more, you know, detail to it. Everything's not just flat and cut and dry. So there's the rack and pinion. Here, the blue is the, of course, the sway bar. It had struts in the front, which I installed. I painted them yellow to be Bilsteins. I ran out of... somebody needs to come up with a decal sheet with Bilstein decals on them because I used them all over the years. But usually when you buy a NASCAR kit, that decal sheet has Bilstein, at least 2 decal on it. But I've used all mine up over the years, so I don't have any more left. But there's no shocks or struts for the back. No springs, no struts, no shocks. Nothing. I mean, I'm guessing they're underneath here, but they're not included with the model. So I don't know why they did that. Maybe it's because you can't see them once you get the wheels on there. So, but anyway, I really like the way this came out. This is, of course, just different types of metal paint, silvers and bright silver, different kinds of dark metals and stuff like that. So, and then of course flat black. And then this is gold because that's like a heat shield, I believe, because of these 2 catalytic converters. That's some kind of heat resistant material. And that's really about it. That's as far as I've got on the Charger. Next up on the Charger is interior. That's going to be different colors of gray and black, like a modern car. And then that's really about it. So far, it's coming along great. I haven't had any issues with this model whatsoever, and I'm excited. You know, when I build a model and everything's going right, I get stoked about it, and then I want to work on it. I enjoy more working on it, and I just have really a lot of fun. But it's, you know, sometimes how it is when you get that model, and it's like one problem after another. You have a paint problem, then a part doesn't fit, then you got to start modifying parts to fit because the kit's not that great. Things like that. But in this case, none of that has happened. It's just fallen together, and I haven't had any issues. So I hope it stays that way, and this will be a great, cool kit when it's finished. So that's my update for today. I'm getting close to the funny car being done, and when I do, I'll post a video purely on that. And when I get that done, I'll start on another car kit. I'll make an intro video probably for that one, and I've got a few more other ideas. I bought this this overhead camera ring light thing today, and I hope it helps you see better than before, because in my previous videos I could only get so close with the 2 camera mounts or phone mounts that I had, and I wasn't happy because you could not see, you as an audience, you could not see close enough or in detail to really see what I'm trying to show you. So I hope this helps. I can't say I'll always film everything like this, but at least I have that option now. So I hope that helps. Now when I build a kit and it's all done, I'll do probably, you know, my regular spinning on the thing type film. But I hope this camera will help you see better what I do and you know how it looks. So that's it, and catch you on the next one.